Now, the first morning of the second Ashes Test at Lord's was interrupted when two Just Stop Oil protesters ran onto the ground and scattered orange powder on the outfield. After the first over on Wednesday, bowled by England's James Anderson to Australia batsman David Warner, the men emerged from the stands and moved towards the square, releasing the powder before being tackled by security staff and players. England wicketkeeper Jonny Bairstow picked up one of the men and carried him off the field before dropping him to the ground outside the boundary markers. Now, the ground staff cleared up this powder and the match resumed after a delay of around 5 minutes. That brings me back to Sanjay for his input. Sanjay, the highlight of this protest seems to be the remarkable intervention by Bairstow. Take us through what happened on the pitch.
Well, Bairstow did take a departure from his usual wicket-keeping duties, and we saw him being quite prompt and rather muscular in his removal of one of these protesters. The other was overpowered by stewards and taken away. But you know, this kind of thing is being multiplied now, and this particular group, the one against oil, has adopted this as their so-called modus operandi, where they get to sports events, football matches, snooker championships, and try to disrupt these. And there are other climate groups that adopt their other so-called pet methods. You have the Insulate Britain group, and that has been resorting to blockages of motorways. Clearly, a lot of these climate groups are seeking to protest through activities that really lead to disruption. And there's a new law to target them and to contain them if they were to target key infrastructure. In this case, not many will think that an Ashes Test is key infrastructure, but clearly they will face the consequences of the law.
But when you talk about this group, and you did mention that they have certain demands, what does Just Stop Oil Group want from the British government?
You know, we coincidentally appear to have a report saying that Britain is falling short of its action on climate change. And really that will mean more green energy, more severe taxation to begin with on a lot of these oil companies, and we've seen those profits multiply, and those profits are multiplying on the back of a business seen as polluting and as threatening the atmosphere, threatening, as the activists see it, the future of Earth itself. And they want the government to make very firm steps and to do very much more to bring in green energy and a green environment. And one of the first and the most controversial and no doubt the most difficult tasks in that will be to find ways of targeting oil companies. They are considered the major polluters, and they are seen to be getting away with it, and getting away with it with a lot more profit than they ought to be doing.